Gentlemen, welcome to Cuidate El Paso.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you all sharing your stories because it turns out that a cancer experience affects more than the patient.
Oh, yes.
It affects the entire family. And sometimes we forget, even because we get married and we move on with our lives, that the very basic family unit is our siblings, our brothers and sisters. And they're the ones that are really have been with us the longest. And so when you go through an experience like cancer, it's extremely important to have that support network. So let's talk a little bit about your all's relationship. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Buena Vista. What was life like back then? What year, más o menos, what are we talking about? And what was the dynamic between the three brothers? Now, just to be clear, we have Mike, who's the middle brother, and then we have Victor, the eldest, but not by much, and then the baby of the family, but not by much, Bobby. So, gentlemen, tell us a little bit about your experience in Buena Vista. What was it like growing up?
Well, we used to play baseball in the street, plus football, basket, and we had a lot of little friends there playing with us, but it was pretty nice growing up there.
How would you describe kind of like your typical after school, you'd play games, I guess, out in the street, just like we all did. Back then, you don't see that anymore at all.
We always played baseball. There was a main base.
What position did you play?
Second base, catcher. Sometimes I would pitch,
Brothers, was he any good?
Yeah, I gave up on it too early.
Oh, you mean we could have had an MLB player, huh?
The reason I gave up was because I started having knee problems.
Oh, really?
And they took me to the doctor, and the doctor told me, you better stop him from playing ball because he's going to grow up and he's going to have a lot of pain in his knees. And sure enough, that was true.
Wow. It's amazing if they knew that even back then. And so tell me a little bit about your all's family dynamic. So is it just the three of you all? Do you have other siblings?
We had a stepbrother. His name was Nacho Duran. And he got drafted in 68, and he got killed in Vietnam 69 on Memorial Day.
Oh my goodness. On Memorial Day. That is amazing. So tell us a little bit about your parents. I mean, what did your dad and your mom do, or what was life like, an everyday life in your all's household?
We were never inside the house, though. We just played outside and hung around with everybody.
My dad was a sportman. He liked golf, he liked bowling, he liked baseball, softball. And at that time, he used to play with a team hardball, and they would go to the La Union, New Mexico, to play. He worked in Asarco too.
Oh, okay. That brings to mind what we were going to talk about, and Izzy, jump in whenever you'd like. But
Sure.
You all did kind of grow up very close to Asarco, and that was one of the reasons. So your father worked at Asarco.
He actually attended elementary school in Smeltertown.
In Smeltertown. What was that like?
E.B. Jones, that was the name of the school.
What was that? E.B.
Jones.
E.B. Jones. I thought you said Davy Jones. I'm like, he was in the Monkeys.
He was in the
What you were asking? What was that like? Was it a big school?
It was a small school, just to 7th grade. It was a little elementary school.
Crocheting was from 1st to 4th grade. Then from 4th grade, transferred to E.B. Jones.
Crocheting was the grade school then.
Yes.
So how many? I just want to for our listeners to kind of get a feeling of what was like life like that. So we're talking about what, the 1960s? Is that right?
Yes, like 63 when they killed Kennedy.
Right.
They sent us home real early.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know lots of people of your old generation. I'm slightly younger, not by much, again. but yes, I mean, that is one of those milestone moments that everybody remembers what they were doing when that occurred. How many people were in your class? I mean,
about 20, 15.
Really? So you really did have a very small, tight-knit community in Buena Vista and in Smeltertown.
Everybody knew everybody. Something that we miss nowadays.
Yeah, it was a very tight community, and we can kind of contrast it a little bit later on because that's exactly right. I mean, it was this very small community. Well, so then your dad worked at Asarco, and then it just turned out that all three of you also worked at Asarco. So did you all follow directly in your father's footsteps, or did you do other things and then end up at Asarco? And what was that experience like?
I was the one that I didn't want to work there. I wanted to be a music teacher.
Oh, wow.
All right.
When I went to Asarco, I was not married. So I said, I'll just work there like 2 years, 3 years, so I could buy me a Corvette. And I never did. After 27 years.
But you got married.
Yes.
So-
I got married like 3 months later.
After you started Asarco?
Yes.
So you kissed the Corvette goodbye, huh?
Pretty much. I had 2 opportunities to buy one, but both times my daughters needed a car more than I needed the Corvette.
So, bottom line, it wasn't in the cards for you to have a Corvette, but it was in the cards for you to be an amazing dad.
I was going to say that too. I mean, that's a really good dad.
Yeah, that's
All right, I'll
extremely
give up my
sweet.
Corvette dreams for you.
I'll say one thing: if it would have been me, I would have been driving that Corvette. No. So tell us a little bit about the values that were instilled in you all back then. I mean, there's a big generational difference, as you all know, because I'm sure that you all have younger people in your family now, and even in our families, you know, the younger generation even more so. But, you know, it seems to me like back then families were a little bit closer, and especially in a small community like your all's. Tell us a little bit about the values that you all were raised from your parents.
One of them was being clean being planchados,
Yeah?
having your shoes shined every day, taking a bath every day,
Yeah.
helping out with the kitchen, wash dishes, to help mom wash clothes, because at that time we didn't have the washer for today. We used to put it on what do you call it?
crank.
What do you call it? Latinas.
Really? You do the old-fashioned scrub your clothes with it? Wow.
So it was a lot of work for just one mom, you know?
Right.
Especially that she was sick. She had heart problems since she was born, I guess.
Right. So you all pitched in
Yes.
to help.
The thing that she instilled on, well, that I remember was, una atención vale mucho. That's what she would say. Mejor ponga atención a otras gentes, ayude lo que pueda.
And that was part of growing up, because my mom was most of the time in the hospital. She was sick.
She was that sick, really?
Yes,
She had a
yes.
stroke and was paralyzed on
On the left side.
Yeah. And let's see, Victor, how old were you when that happened?
Sí, dijo eso.
I was like about 12 or 13 years
about
old.
19.
Wow. So, I mean, again, you know, those types of situations make
Yeah, it was hard.
a guy grow up fast.
Yes, because after high school, I stayed at home, do dishes, laundry. And
Yeah,
take
we had
care
to
of-
help her out.
Wow. And at that point, were you already working at Asarco, Victor? No.
I was working at El Paso Electric. I worked there for 5 years. Got out, went to Rainbow Bread, worked there 3 months, then went to Asarco.
So now going back to, you all seem like you all really pitched in, but you said something really interesting, Victor. You said that what was instilled in you is that just being available to help people is a good lesson that any parent can give their child, because one of the things, and I don't want to, you know, attack the younger generation, but going back about what you were saying, Mike, about always being dressed, having your shoes shined, and presenting yourself, and kind of showing up for people, showing up for yourself, and showing up for other people, that's sorely lacking in today's younger generation, especially when you see kids in, you know, young men in their pajamas at the grocery store, and you're like, I don't want to see that.
All the time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, slippers and pajamas.
Right.
And tank tops, if that.
Yeah.
Back then they would say, pórtate bien, and that was it. Nowadays you tell them, be on your best behavior in one ear, out the other.
Right? That kind
Something I would miss.
That kind of segues into a question that you had wanted to ask, Izzy, about
Yeah, because when I think of older aesthetics and older teachings and those kinds of things, you know, it's that, oh, you know, you don't cry, you know, you buy stuff for the family, you're provider, you're the you know, you're the final decision, you don't have feelings, you don't get scared, you know, you put on a front.
Yeah. Sometimes we get into a machismo thing, and we shouldn't be that way, because that was part of our father saying, you don't cry,
Right.
and you're supposed to cry because
We're human.
yeah.
that makes you relieve pain and whatever, because it hurts.
How
Yeah.
long did it take
Yeah.
you guys to get to that point, though?
I still have it.
We still have the machismo in us.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. I think that's an interesting thing because, I mean, we all are our father's children, however you look at it, right? And they were doing the best they could from the generation they came from and try to instill in us whatever they could. And sometimes they weren't all good things and they weren't all bad things, right? But unlearning some of that machismo is a lifelong journey for men. Let's talk a little bit about your all's individual lifelong journey of letting go of some of that machismo. Like, what moments would it have been that would really kind of bring down a little bit of that guard? And I know it's not all gone, Victor. I know that what you're talking about. It's not easy for a lot of guys. I have many brothers, I mean 5 of them, all in your all's age group, so I get it.
It's probably when we got married that we had to lose a little bit of it.
Yeah, well,
Most of it.
all of it. Because that'd be a rolling pin in your head if it was.
I couldn't tell you what's the difference because I only had 3 girls.
Wow.
And they're hard.
Yeah, they're harder.
I don't know if they're harder than boys.
What do you guys
I
think?
would think so, yeah.
I have a daughter and a son.
So do I. My eldest is the daughter.
I see.
Then I've got the smaller one, it's the boy.
That's the son. So now that's an interesting little kind of chain. So, you know, we kind of get a feeling of what you all grew up with in that time and where men really didn't talk a lot about stuff. And particularly when we're talking about Vietnam era and we're talking about all these things where, you know, we as men back then, I'll include myself in that because I'm still old enough to have been part of that. But the thing is that we were, you know, not expected to cry, talk about our feelings, talk about loving.
Yes.
God forbid that we would hug each other like men were to hug each other and say, "Hey, what's going on?" It's just we weren't raised that way, and the world was different back then. You know, so that's an interesting journey. Has it affected your all's individual relationship with each other? Now that some of
Bobby and myself, we became more close because he's a year younger than me.
right,
But with Victor, I was like distant. When I was little, I used to tell my mom, "Why is this guy living with us? Throw him out, throw him out." She would tell me, "He's your brother." "What, a brother?" "Yeah, but he doesn't belong here. Throw him out. He's sleeping here."
I started playing baseball at the age of 5. My dad was a manager because that was the only way I could get to play because Little League was at 6. So from 6 all the way to 16 years, I played baseball.
Wow.
Summer, winter, you name it, all around. And I was never at home. So, during my summer, I would usually play on the all-star teams. We'd go out and play out of town. So
So
Wow,
were
you
never
really
home.
were. You
so
were-
you never home.
never.
your whole life was baseball back then, huh? And leaving Mike to wonder who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever he was there. Yeah, and so you and Bobby developed more of a sibling relationship, right? Was being the older brother kind of opened the door to maybe a little bit more sensitivity? Because I did know I'm the baby of my family, and my brothers were much nicer to me than they were to each other. Do you have a little soft spot in your heart for the baby brother?
Kind of weird that because when I went into Asarco, that's when I became more brotherly to my brother Victor.
Really? Just
Because he was never home.
and so you got to see, like, kind of reintroduce yourself to him,
yes.
and then working together helps. Yeah.
Yes. One day he got a basketball for Christmas, and I was like the curious George of the family. I got the ball, and I said, "What happens if I put a nail and you know where you pump the air?"
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I put a nail and I bounced it like that, and I never told him until like 5 years later. "You never told me." I thought it was flat because it just went flat. Even though I put in a nail and I just
And my football too.
yeah.
Oh no. Oh, okay.
You didn't learn the experiment the first time.
So
I was curious all the time.
that was actually going to be one of my questions.
Yeah.
Of the 3 of you, which one got in trouble the most?
Me.
Mike was the troublemaker, huh? Well, obviously he's deflating, all the sports equipment in the house. And,
I always thought I was the black sheep of the family
really? What made you feel like that?
because this guy would just drink and not me. I went into drugs and playing around with drugs, and it wasn't nice, but I went into it because my mom passed away.
Right. No, that's understandable. I mean, and it's, I appreciate you being so honest about that, because that's also some of the things that we all want to hide sometimes, but it's part of our past.
Yes.
And we've come through it. I mean, obviously, you know, it was just part of that period in your life. What was that like for you?
At first, I thought it was like real challenging. Like, I had friends who were heroin addicts, and I was scared to try heroin. I never did. So I just tried different kind of recreational drugs, but they were not nice. Sometimes it was something that I wanted to escape from the reality.
I see. Well, that's certainly understandable, and that's why a lot of people start using drugs.
Yes, yes.
We had a couple of cousins, Kenneth and Beto.
The Huerta family and the Duran family. There were 5 boys, Duran, and 5 Huertas, and they all were drug addicts.
Really?
They
They all went to
overdosed.
prison, yeah.
Was that part of the small community that you were
Yes,
from
it
too?
was
Because
part
it
of
was,
it, yes.
I understand the dynamic of, you know, what happens in small barrios and in small neighborhoods and housing projects and in all these type of places where people of similar circumstances are in this little area together. And if one starts using drugs, very likely
Can't
the
get
others.
away from it.
Yeah.
That's why I moved to Isleta.
Really?
Yes, to be away from my crowd the little group I used to hang out with. And they were cousins.
Wow.
So I just know I don't want to get married and be close to these guys, because
What age were you at that point, Mike?
I got married at the age of 21 years.
And that's when you decided to get out
Yes.
of Buena Vista and move to Isleta
Yes.
and kind of start again. And so the kind of new lease on life was your marriage and your wife, Susan,
Yes.
right? Victor and Bobby. And that is maybe difficult, but tell me, if you could describe Mike in one word, what would that word be?
Funny.
He's always had a good sense of humor.
Would that be your word too, or what's your word?
Yeah, good.
He's a joker.
I like
Prankster.
to play around.
Prankster, joker? Wow. Midnight toker, apparently. But not anymore.
He still does.
Joke.
He's always sending jokes to my.
Oh yeah, he said he still does. I'm like, oh, he still jokes.
I know, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
But
too.
no, anybody that spends any amount of time with Mike knows that he has got a smile on his face, quick with a comment, and makes you laugh.
His music.
And music, very
He's
good.
always into his music. Everywhere we go, we get together. He's always got music. Here, listen to this, man. You know, and
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we were at Chico's the other day and ponte los headphones.
And it's cool that he shares that music with you, because that's a big part of, I think, friendship and
Music
siblings.
is universe.
It is universal,
Okay.
and also it's cool when you can share it, because it creates that moment that you're sharing with that person. You want to see, you're seeing how they react to the song, or they may not like it, or they may love it, or they like hear what you hear, but you're sharing that moment. But that's actually a very important thing. So musical and funny, those are all very nice things.
it's growing up. We were a lot closer than Victor and I.
Yeah.
But with Victor, I spend a lot of time, because when he was playing, I'd go for a bad boy. I'd be their
You were the cheerleader.
Bad boy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
team bad boy, and they took me out when they left the town
Oh yeah,
to go play. I went with them a couple of times.
that must have been a good time for a young boy. Huh?
Oh yeah.
I was what, 8, 9,
Jeez, that's great. Yeah.
and with Mike, we played baseball for a couple of years. But then as he grew, he started playing music, or liking
Got
music,
into music.
and that kind of separated us a little bit.
Right.
Because he
So
went into music with different friends.
Oh.
So
you develop your own interest after that, and it sounds to me like sports was not your number one gig to begin with.
No.
So you kind of found your own path.
The reason I started playing the drums was because Nacho, our stepbrother, he used to be in the marching band with a Tech High School. And when he was go play for the games, football games, he would dress up with his marching band. Wow, I said, wow, I'm gonna wear one of those one of these days. And I grew up and I went to Paso High and I did.
You did it?
Yes, the marching band.
And you play drums?
Yes.
Yeah, and you still play drums?
Yes.
All right.
So,
Let him tell you how he learned to play the drums.
There was-
Las tinas.
Yeah.
really?
Plastic metal, little, those 5-gallon little.
Los baldes,
Like
the
the
buckets, the
kegs.
5-gallon buckets.
No,
Yeah.
Los tinas where they used to wash.
No way.
We used to use those ones and the other ones.
You just turn them over, and would you have what kind of? Did you use drumsticks
Just
on
a
them?
palo from out there, the wilderness.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
They would practice behind our house. He was a drum. Cousin David was que tocaba the saxophone. But my brother-in-law Rudy, he played the saxophone too. ¿Quién más? Oh, and
Level.
So you had a band.
We had a band, yes.
They made a band.
The Emeralds.
The emeralds,
Like
the jewel.
Yes.
The jewel. That's cool. What made you decide that? Just because it was.
the guitar player's mom. She told you should be the Emeralds. And she bought us like green little jackets real nice.
That is
cool.
super cool. So now,
I
like
know.
that is like in the 70s now, right? Is that
We're
kind of?
talking about 69, yeah,
Wow.
70.
Wow. And so the Emeralds. And you guys remember hearing the Emeralds play?
Oh, yeah.
That must have been a really good time for you as a young man, huh, Mike?
Yes, it was.
And what kind of
I had
music
a
was
group,
it?
like the
Oldies.
all these.
All these rock and roll.
Yeah, they were oldies even back then. So, like, I'm assuming songs from like the 50s and 60s, right? Yeah.
The bad thing about it, Ted, was my dad never bought me a nice professional drum set. So one day that I went to Rudolph with $8,000 cash because I saw a Corvette there. But I had a little old truck, toda pataleada, and I got off, and the guy that was gonna sell me the car saw me. He went over there and he said, "What? Can I help you?" "Yeah, I come and check out the Corvette." "Well, I don't think you can afford it," because he saw my truck. So I went real sad, and I got in my truck, and I went down by Montana, and right there on Montana was a music store. It was called Duncan Music Store. So I went in and I said, "Hey," and I saw a drum set, everything set up and everything, $2,000. With cymbals, everything, hardware. "Hey, how much do you want?" $2,000. "Like that?" "Yes, I'll take it." So I put it in my truck.
Wow.
And then I went to Courtesy Chevrolet. And then I got off and I saw the little Volkswagen, real nice. And I said, "Hey, how much do you want for that?" $4,000. "I'll take it." So I spent $8,000 on it.
You got a Volkswagen and a drum set all in one day.
And did you go back to that other salesman who wouldn't sell you the Corvette?
I blew up the money.
It would have been like that Pretty Woman. Big mistake. Big mistake.
I think that I had my professional drum set.
That is so cool. Okay, so what I'm hearing is the universe really didn't want you to have a Corvette.
Yes.
But it did want for you to have a drum set.
Yes.
And a wife
Professional.
and 3 daughters.
Yes.
Yeah. And be able to buy your daughter a car.
Yes.
That's all very
two
cool.
cars.
There you go. That's right.
So I made a business. I bought me a little surround sound for my drum set. And Victor's daughter, she graduated from high school. And she said, "Hey, you want to play for my party?" "No, what do you want me to play?" "Just play what you play." So at that time, we used to use the LPs. So I had to carry a lot of LPs with me because it wasn't possible. I didn't have the equipment to
We
buy
didn't
a
have tracks or
computer,
CDs.
nothing like that, you know. So that's I played for him. Then I started getting more people. "Hey, how much do you charge? How much do you charge?" And I started playing every Saturday and Fridays when I was off from Asarco. And I started playing for the old Bowie alumni, the Jefferson. And they would like what I played. "Hey, you play nice music, nice music." Well, I would charge like $40 an hour.
Wow, good for you.
Wow.
Yes.
So you were a DJ. Yeah.
Tócame la disco.
So they told me, "What's your name?" "Tócame la sound." "No, then it's too bad. That's a bad name. No, why? And the reason I put Tócame la Sound, because they used to go to my house and we start drinking it. Hey, tócame esa canción, bro. Tócame esa canción. So ese vez me le pongo Tócame la Sound.
I love that.
I do too.
That's very
an awesome
cool.
name.
That's
We're very, very creative.
Just kind of emotionally, how has your all's relationship grown as brothers?
my relationship with them was closer now because of what I went through.
I see.
We all went through it. I too.
That's a good point. Let's go ahead and transition into that.
And he had cancer too.
And you both, you're also a
Yes.
cancer survivor, is that right? Okay, so Bobby, tell us a little bit, and now I'm going to ask both of you, both Bobby and Mike. When did you first think something might be wrong? And how did you react to it? And what was your first instinct of what to do?
I went to my doctor, and he took blood, blood test, and it came out I was anemic. He says, "You're anemic. Why are you anemic? Do you notice you lose blood somewhere?" I said, "No." So he said, "Okay, what I want you to do is go for a colonoscopy," and that's where I found out that I had cancer. Mm-hmm. And we knew about it because my dad also had
Colon cancer.
and that's what he died from.
About what age were you at when you got that diagnosis?
I was about 45, maybe 50.
Bobby, what was going through your mind when you heard the words, "You have colon cancer"?
Oh no, my wife was with me, and we broke down. We broke down, and from that visit to the doctor, when we went down to she worked for a couple doctors, and we went to their office, and they said, no, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. So right away they did surgery on me, and I was lucky that it hadn't spread. Mm-hmm. But it was a 1.5 centimeter, something like that.
A tumor?
Yeah, and so I got lucky.
Bobby, before your diagnosis, would you see a doctor on a regular basis, or did you just?
Yes. My wife, myself, my stepmom, my mother-in-law, everybody went to that doctor.
I see.
Even though he wasn't he was a specialist. He wasn't just a medical, what do you call it?
General
practitioner.
Right.
He was a specialist, but he took us all in. And I guess that's what saved me.
That's amazing. So you were actually part of the medical system, as it were, for a long time.
Yes.
And one of the things that we know about men in general, particularly Hispanic men, is that they kind of hold off on care. As long as there's no problem. Women's bodies are different, and they kind of get involved with doctors at a much younger age, and it becomes part of how they do things. Hispanic men, Latinos, Chicanos, all of us approach things a little differently, and it's kind of one of those, if it's not broken, don't fix it, and let's just ignore it. Voy a estar bien, that sort of thing. So it's very refreshing to hear that you actually did see a doctor on a regular basis, and that made a difference.
The thing is, when my dad was diagnosed that he had colon cancer, and he passed away, Victor was the first one to go to see a doctor for that.
Really, Victor?
Yeah, but-
tell me about that.
Well, when my dad passed away, I was 50 years. And I remember going to the doctor, and I asked him, I need to have a colonoscopy done. Can you do it? He told me, you're too young for a colonoscopy. You're 50 years too young. So I told him, no, I want to go ahead and do it. I need to do it because my dad just passed away from cancer. So after I had my colonoscopy done, he told me, everything's fine, you're fine. So two weeks later, I went up to his office for the results. So I was standing by the window, and he came in and he just said, "You got cancer." Just like that. What? Yes, sir, you have cancer. Oh my God, first thing that came to my mind was my wife. And I was working for Job at that time, and my son was working also. So I'm thinking, how in the heck am I gonna tell my wife? And how am I gonna tell my son? Oh, okay, so I drove back to Job for work. As I go inside the office, the first one I see is my son. What happened, Dad? I got the results, mijo. And? Found cancer. And he likes, I don't know, he usually faints when things like that happen. So I called my wife and I told her, and she said, "Stop playing, don't be horsing around." No, it's true. That's what they told me. So I get home, he's there with Lucy, his wife.
You're saying Bobby was home, right? Yeah.
They had already booked doctors for me. So a couple of days after that, I went in and had my procedure done. I had 12 inches from my intestine removed. So that was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Now, if I would have said, "Okay, doctor, I'm too young, never mind," I don't know what would have happened, because one of the polyps was cancer.
That is an amazing story. And I do believe that the screening guidelines have changed now. Is that right, Izzy?
I was going to say it's 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for you. From learning from your experience, from your brother,
Even
and from
the
your father.
prostate.
Even mine-
Prostate. You're supposed to get an exam at 40.
Even mine was, I got my first colonoscopy with Dr. Hernandez, but he retired, and I think he went to work for Thompson somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I saw another doctor at the same office, and my first colonoscopy, he did it, and everything was, he says, I burned a few polyps. So I got rid of a few polyps. But then he said, we'll see you in 3 years. So he left, and he said, well, stay with this guy, with this doctor. So I went for my second colonoscopy, and he cleared me. He says, no, you're fine. So, but he burned a couple of polyps. But after that, 2 years later, is when they found the.
Wow. So it sounds to me, unlike a lot of men, right, you all were very proactive. I want to talk a little bit about, this was all prior to Mike's diagnosis, which was in August of last year. So it's not even been quite a year. So you were diagnosed with colorectal cancer, is that right?
Well, I didn't know I had cancer.
Right. So let's talk about that. Well, let's talk about when did you first think something might be a problem? And how, what made you decide to move forward in terms of trying to figure out what to do?
Well, that day we were watching TV, got a real bad pain, like real bad, and I stood up and I couldn't stand the pain. And I told my wife, we went to bed. And at 1 o'clock, I couldn't even be on the bed. And I didn't want to wake up my wife because it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So at 3 o'clock, it got real bad. I went, hey, you know what? You need to take me to the hospital. So she took me to the hospital. Once I got in the hospital, they put me through a camera, and he said, you got a blockage. You got a big ball. We're gonna have to take it off and see what it is. The doctor said, I think it's cancer. So he took out the 12 inches, and he cut the whole thing with the cancer. He went to send it to the lab, and it came back and it's cancer. But it was a stage 4 because it started spreading to my lungs, I think, and my kidneys, the liver. So he said, you're gonna have to go see a specialist, oncologist. And he said, you know what? I saved you from not wearing the bag. Because they were going to put me a bag. That was the first miracle I saw. Not only that, first miracle I saw was that doctor was there at the time I needed him. Because he was like from Africa.
I see.
And he said, you know what, I also removed you a hernia.
Wow. Wow.
Oh.
A freebie. I told him it's a freebie, yes. He was there right
Throw
next
in
to
the
it.
Yeah. Well, so I figured since I have the hood open, I might as well
There again.
check things out.
He had a colonoscopy before.
Right.
Before he got his cancer. And the colonoscopy came out good.
So that's an interesting lesson, and that I think that screening is extremely important. And one of the things that we certainly encourage all men to see a doctor at least once a year, and to get the proper screenings, because the doctor will tell you what you need to have screened, right? What you need to check for. When you say
He tells
screening,
you what to do, but
right?
I never had that symptom. I never had anything, just the pain. So I thought
Sudden pain.
before they took out my gallbladder, because I had a pain too, and I said, take me to the hospital. So they went and they had to remove the gallbladder because of the pain. It was like 30 years ago.
Wow. So, Mike, let me ask you: when you were diagnosed and they told you it was cancer, I would think that your brother's experiences came to mind almost immediately. What were you going through emotionally at that time?
You know what, Ted? At that time, he said, we need to open up and take out that thing. Go ahead, just do what you have to do. And I just said, you know what, God, you take care of it. And he did everything like it was supposed to be. Like it's a miracle. I'm a miracle guy, for sure.
Speaking of miracles, I don't want to keep people waiting too long, but we have good news in that your cancer is controlled.
Well, yes. Next Thursday, I go to the doctor. When they take out blood, they have a cancer count. And I started with 907 on December. And then 2 months later, it went down to 207. Like a month later, it went down to 43. A month later, it went to 19. And my last infusion was like a month ago. It went down to 13.
That's amazing.
That's what I tell you, I'm a miracle.
And that was the result of the chemotherapy treatment?
It's a chemo.
Talk a little bit about that, Mike. What was going through your emotion? What was your emotional state during the whole process of treatment? Because it takes a lot out of you. There's no denying that. And your brothers didn't really have chemotherapy because they were able to be detected early and remove it with surgery. Right? And so in your particular case, you knew that you were in for a fight.
Yes.
So what was your approach to that fight?
Well, I said, well, I need to take it because if I don't, I'm going to just die. So I said, I better take it. My thought was, what am I going to go through? But I had a 2-hour seminar with some nurses telling me of what the side effects of each medicine was going to have. So once I knew because I had some thought what's going to happen, like, what am I going to go through? Like, I don't know. So with that seminar they gave me telling me what kind of side effects, I started saying, well, I'm just going to leave it to God if whatever happens. Like right now I'm going through side effects. And this one is about neuropathy. And neuropathy, I read on it, it's going to take from 1 to 2 years to get back my feelings. Because the chemo killed every nerve. It killed my hairs in my nose. That's why I get like viruses when I breathe something like probably
allergens or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's real painful because it causes me a lot of pain on my nose. Plus taste on my mouth. Sometimes I feel real weak. Like I just want to lay down in bed. And the worst one was like diarrhea.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
was sad. And I don't want to.
No, it's an absolute side effect of the treatment, for sure.
Part of the chemo going out.
Right.
So I had a hard time with that, but thank God I'm doing good.
And I know that your family support was
Yes,
always there.
that's part of it.
Not only did you have your brothers, which I talked about as the people that have known you the longest on the planet, are your siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your wife and your daughters. How has that emotional support helped you during this process?
Well, it's helped me out because it shows me that they care. Everybody cares. Even here in the day we were here,
Yes.
your sisters or whatever, hey, you're gonna be alright. It makes you feel good, They give
There's
you,
a lot of goodwill.
motive.
One, you're a very charming man, first of all. And people, to know this man is to love him. Honestly, it is an honest truth. I don't say that about a lot of people, but I say it about you, and I say it proudly about you, Mike. And so all the people that meet you wish you well.
Yes.
And I think
And I
that's
feel
a lot
the
of your
love of
energy.
God right there,
That's what it is.
Even at the center, I made a lot of friends because it would take me like little snacks, and then, hey, would you like some? Yeah, I'll take some, and compartía yo con ellos, and they became friends.
Food is the great
Yes.
friend maker.
That's right.
So I think this way, God gave me esta enfermedad to make people happy.
Wow, that is a very
Yes.
brave outlook in life. I think that's amazing.
And I'm happy to say that I'm a miracle because I'm the proof. I don't know how long I'm gonna last.
None of us do, Mike.
Yes, we're all gonna end somewhere in the
Right.
ground, pero si me da 3 years or 2 years, whatever, I'll be more happy.
What lessons have you learned from this whole experience? It could be medical, emotional, psychological, whatever the case may be. What are the lessons that you learned from this
Well,
experience?
this lesson comes from my mom, Ted, because when I was small, my mom was always reading the Bible. And I would ask her, why you read that book? And she would tell me, this book gives me life. I didn't understand. And I would ask her, if you were to ask God for something, what would you ask for? She would say, time.
Wow.
Time.
She was 47 when she passed away.
That is an amazing thing to ask for because that shows you what life is really precious is when you
So
understand.
now I understand
Yeah,
what time means.
that's right. That's an incredible lesson to learn. That is an amazing story. Thank you all for sharing that. I want to talk a little about men in general. What do you all think prevents men from seeking help medically and emotionally? What do you think some of the barriers are that are affecting men in our culture, Hispanics, Latinos, Chicanos, however you identify? What do you think are some of the obstacles that stop men?
Ego.
Because me va a checar and I don't want to have that, And most of the time it's money.
Yeah.
It's going to cost me a lot of money.
Time. They don't want to waste the time.
And you said ego. I think that's true. All of those are all absolutely true. Do you think those are excuses
No.
that are hiding fear?
Yes, it's fear.
Fear.
It's fear.
I think that's one of the things that I've learned in working on this project is that I think what holds a lot of men back is fear, but because we're men, we don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit that we're fear.
They've always said, you go to the doctor, they're going to find something wrong with you.
Right.
So that fear's instilled in it.
Very
So you don't want to go
to
to the doctor.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. It's better that it's better for me to feel a little uncomfortable than to confront it. But in reality, to be quite honest with you, that's kind of the irony about being macho, is
That's
that
what I'm
it's
going to say. Macho.
yeah, it's the opposite, isn't it?
Yes.
Talk about that, Mike.
Well, sometimes you say, nah, I don't have any symptoms. I don't need to go. I'm just going to wait. That's part of being macho. No, I can't handle it my way, But no, you have to check yourself because you don't know what's going on inside yourself because there's signs, but you don't always notice your signs because lack of knowledge, lack of going in to see what kind of symptoms you have. Because when you go urinate and it's too yellow and it's foamy, it's telling you something's going on with your system of
Your kidneys.
yes, correct. Or when you go in the bathroom and there's a little blood,
Right.
something's going on. You have to check, and you have pain
You have
sometimes.
to go to the doctor.
Yeah, and not just that, but one of the things I was the caregiver for my parents. Both my parents died separately, but at the age of 90. My mom went first, and then my dad left when he was 90, and I started taking care of them in their late 50s, early 60s, and getting them to go to the doctor was like pulling teeth, literally. And they would say, I feel fine, I don't need to go to the doctor. And I would say, listen, the reason to go to the doctor is because you feel fine. So that in case anything were to happen, they would be able to help you without there becoming a more complicated issues in the future. What do you all think of that kind of preventative approach to healthcare? Bobby, go ahead.
I think the mentioning still letting the family voice that you need to get your checkups, that you need to go to the doctor for, say, the heart, the stomach, whatever, and go from there.
That's
but
right.
if they don't tell them, they don't do it. And to me, it keeps you from going.
It's
Because they
you
will
wanting to
instill it.
do it, Ted, because your wife can tell you have to go. No, yo no quiero ir ya.
Yeah.
Ponme Vicks, con el Vicks me cura.
Boy, we all know that.
Yeah. Mexican cure-all.
One day my stepmom called. Mijo, se cayó su papá del techo. What? Yeah, se cayó. He was up fixing the air conditioner. I used to do that all the time for him. And I get to the house and I told him, come on, Dad, vamos al hospital. No, I'm fine. No me pasó nada. No, Dad, vamos al hospital. No vine de Yokis. So, let's go. Get on the truck, vamos. So,
Nomás se levanta todo rengo.
So he hobbles over, and good for you for making him go to the doctor. But he was putting on Vicks before.
I don't know what he was.
Been gay.
Yeah, that's true. That's like Vicks on steroids. Yeah, that's for serious issues. Yeah.
But at the same time, you get relief. They check you and, no, you're fine, okay. Otherwise, you're just thinking, am I really something wrong with
Which goes back to the things that you were saying about get checked. Don't miss.
Yeah, don't let it pass by like
Yeah.
What advice would you all give a young man? I mean, let's talk about 18. There's risks for certain cancers at 18, like testicular cancer and
Prostate.
and yeah, even so, it's even though prostate cancer is considered an older person,
Yeah, it's more commonly
right, but it's never too early to start to see a doctor so that you can kind of work your way up to that kind of care. So, what advice would you give? Okay, I guess I don't want to say what advice would you give your younger self, but what advice would you give an 18-year-old man today about taking care of himself, for himself and for his family?
Just
Bobby,
go
go
to
ahead.
the doctors. Don't be scared. You'll be fine.
Good advice.
They'll catch everything on time, and you'll live happier.
Mike?
With me, the thing is this: when you go to a doctor, just ask for your lab work and ask questions of your cholesterol, your HCTs, your blood levels, everything, so they can explain to you. Don't just get it and roll it up and put it in your pocket.
That's a very good point, because you know what? We don't talk enough about it. It's hard enough to get men to go to the doctor, okay? Okay, let's take a step back. It's hard enough to get men to listen. One. Okay, and I think all of your wives would agree with that. And it's also hard enough to get men to go to the doctor. It's hard enough to get men to listen to their doctor. But part of that is to ask the right questions.
Yes.
So that you have to take responsibility for understanding what's going on and not just put everything on the doctor It's up to you. So that's very good advice. Is that something that you did before or during this?
I wouldn't do it, but when I started, the thing is I went to a doctor, he was an oncologist, and he would tell me, your blood is too high. No, not my blood is too thick. It's supposed to be below 50s, 39, 40, like that. Mine was at 52, 55, and it was real thick. So they had to take a pint of blood every time my blood would go above 50, because that would create blood clots and would create a blockage in my veins or whatever.
Right.
And then he would tell me, when was the last time you had a colonoscopy? I told him, well, last year. And I think he told me, I think you need another one. I just listened, it's okay, I already had one. But he was telling me something because he saw something on the chart about my blood. But he didn't tell me. He would circle things and I would ask him, what is this? No, you're doing okay, you're doing okay. But there was a sign there that was telling me something was wrong. Until now that I go to this oncologist, I ask him, and he tells me, the cancer count, everything, like in your blood, everything, your history is right there. He'll tell you.
That's kind of an interesting thing because, we talk about machismo and being the man and taking control. Take control of your own health. Take control of the situation and learn these things for yourself.
Yes, your chart is gonna tell you about your life, what's going on, and you gotta ask the doctor why. Explain to me now in terms that I can understand, because what you tell me, they use big words and so they just leave you like, what the hell's going on?
Right. No, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
One of the things that was really great about all three of you is that you're persistent and you all have pursued it. And oftentimes, so I think a lot of men might just go like, no, it's okay. But the three of you have persisted after. It's like, there's something wrong.
Have worked out.
Has paid off.
It's paid off. Well, you, as testament to the three of you are sitting around this table, all three of you are cancer survivors.
Yeah.
Victor, what advice would you give to a young man about his health?
A young man, I would say the best thing they can do, go to a doctor and have lab work done. I think that is the best thing. Check your cancer, whatever.
Yeah, the blood's gonna tell you.
Blood test, everything shows up.
Get to a doctor and let them do their job and ask all the right questions. I think it's pretty easy.
You can go to the doctor and ask him, hey, can you check me for my colon? Can you check me? Because for the prostate, there's GPA or something like that. GPS.
BPA?
Yes, with your blood. Not only that, they can do it manually.
Right.
And manually is better.
It's more accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a nice feeling, but you're gonna feel better when they tell you you're doing okay.
That's right. That's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about how many seconds of displeasure as opposed to a lifetime of horrible cancer experience if they don't catch it.
Mm-hmm. The pain you're going to go through.
Right. Very good advice. Gentlemen, this has been an extremely frank and honest discussion with people that I think a lot of guys in El Paso can relate to. So, with a great deal of gratitude, we want to thank you all for sharing your story. All of you, Bobby Marquez, Mike Marquez, and Victor Marquez. Thank you very much.
Us over and talking with you guys.
It's our pleasure, and cuídate.
You got it. We have said brothers.